live anytime. If okay, we're already
We're
live.
live.
Okay, good. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Delegate Lily Chi. I want to welcome everyone to our Montgomery County House Delegations Economic Development Committee's work session to vote, hopefully, on PGMC 11224, which is also known as HB 1364, the Office of People's Counsel on Land Use and Zoning. We shared the amendments with everyone last week, and we again shared with everyone this morning with one little tweak. So I hopefully everyone has had the time to review and received the amendments. So this document has been heavily amended because of our delegation chair, Plavkovich Carr's outreach to the rest of the delegation beyond this committee to gauge their position and leanings on this bill introduced by Senator Kramer. And I have to say, it has been a long journey and a slow journey. There have been many conversations back and forth, both within this committee, online, offline, and with the county leaders. So we have heard from multiple parties, received many emails on this issue. I want to just offer my sincere appreciation to everyone for your open-mindedness, for your willingness to listen to different sides, and for your interest in getting this resolved. So I think we are here finally with a bill that we think we can get ourselves behind based on my conversations with many of you. Today we are looking at a bill that is more reflective of what we hope is practical for the body that has oversight of planning, which is the county council, to implement. So with that, I am going to defer to our committee counsel, Harry and Ralph, to explain the bill. Thank you.
Sure. Do you have a preference, Ralph?
I'm only gonna let you take the lead on that, Harry.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, so this amendment that we're voting on modifies the prior bill in that it requires the county council as opposed to the county executive to appoint the people's council. It removes items 1 through 3 under subsection B and replaces them, which are related to qualification, or I suppose they previously related to duties of the People's Council, and replaces them with language that requires the People's Council to have this substantial experience with, sorry, I need to scroll over, with land use procedures, requires the People's Council to, in accordance with the action plan specified in the County Racial Equity and Social Justice Act, focus on serving populations that have been traditionally underrepresented, including, low-income residents, renters, residents with disabilities, non-native English speakers. Requires the People's Council to be an independent source of information to educate residents on land use planning and the development review process, including by providing information and technical assistance on land use and zoning topics, providing guidance on effective participation in the county land use process, and conducting proactive outreach to residents of the county. If requested by principal parties, assist and facilitate implementation of community liaison communities, or that was corrected to say committees. Sorry, I'm looking at an old reprint. Prepare and widely distribute information through appropriate methods, respond to inquiries, and proactively meet with residents and community groups, prevents the People's Council from representing private individuals or interest groups in various proceedings, prevents them from representing any parties in zoning proceedings or land use in the county within 1 year after serving as people's counsel. And it prevents them from giving testimony in a proceeding before a public body, either as a representative or an individual capacity. Requires them to provide an annual report to the county council on what they've been doing. And it requires the county council to provide or to approve adequate funding for the People's Council. And finally, it allows the county council to remove a People's Council for good cause by an affirmative vote of 6 council members.
All right. Thank you very much, Harry. I will go to Delegate Kaiser for the first question.
I'm hoping can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. I understand and thank you, Chair Chi, and all the time and effort to find this compromise. My question is, in moving forward, if in future years the council wants to enhance the duties, if the council wants to increase the requirements of the position, if they're not just a person, do they have to come back to us for that authority, or is there some authority, or is there some language, excuse me, that what we're putting in is the floor and that they can do more? If someone
That's a
can answer
great
that, please.
Yes, that's a great question. And my understanding is the council should be able to do that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Just as generally federal statutes are a floor for people in the state, as the state legislature, you can also, provide additional protections. You just can't do things that would violate the protections that exist in a superseding act.
Okay. Delegate Kaiser, did you hear our responses?
I did. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Delegate Vice Chair Queen.
Thank you. And I also want to commend the work that was done on this bill to try to reach a compromise bill. My question is sort of related to Delegate Kaiser. Mine is just different. So the definition of underrepresented, and I've tried to understand what the county's plans are, but as we talk about housing, would it be on us as the state, or would they, the county, change or would put a definition of underrepresented as things in our county change? Because when I think about underrepresented, not just based on the number of people that are there, I'm thinking of the senior population who are continually complaining to me that as they downsize and look for other places to live in the county, that there aren't, there's not the choices that they would want. So I could see it underrepresented in terms of thinking about planning for housing, could represent a population that we're not thinking about now. Is that making sense, or are you understanding my question around the term underrepresented?
Yes, and my reaction to your question, which you also raised with me last night, would be the bill is now drafted as such that it includes certain categories, but don't exclude any categories that would make sense in the county's course of public engagement, understanding the needs of different communities as the community continues to evolve. I mean, we're 1 million people, very diverse. All kinds of needs would evolve over time, including senior populations. But here it says, in accordance with the action plan specified in the County Racial Equity and Social Justice Act, which was adopted in 2019, by the way, focus on serving populations that have been traditionally underrepresented, including low-income renters, and it could be senior renters, as they downsize, right? Residents with disabilities and people who speak a language other than English at home. But it does not exclude adding more categories as appropriate. And of course, we broadly mention racial equity and social justice because that's a broader framework with which the council is supposed to use to look at everything they do. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Any other members have questions? I see Delegate Solomon with 2 pictures here. Okay. All right, if not, if I don't see any more hands up, and I just want to say, this is a compromise bill because based on Chair Plavkovich-Carr's work of surveying the rest of the delegation, because our committee can recommend one way or the other, right? The larger delegation can still take upon any bills any way they want. So she surveyed the entire House delegation, and there were not enough votes to vote out the original bill as the bill sponsor wanted to advance, and that some advocates wanted to push for. And this was the version that she believes the delegation can get behind, which is why we are here where we are. Okay. So Delegate Solomon, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. I was just wondering if maybe one of the councils could talk about, I know one of the things that we were interested in was making sure that we were sort of continuing the precedent with other counties and kind of how they've set their office up, and wondering if anybody could just kind of comment on that.
Okay. Harry, would you like to?
Honestly, I'm not terribly familiar with the way that well, I mean, I could look into it, and look at the statutes in other counties. I believe that Prince George's and
Baltimore County.
Baltimore County, thank you,
Yeah.
have a similar position, but I don't have the statutory language in front of me.
Yeah, and there are a couple of other counties, smaller ones that have, but they are all different. They all vary in their functionality. I think Montgomery County's historically, the Office of People's Counsel has focused more heavily on technical assistance to explain how the participation works, etc. Yes. Ralph.
This might be better served by maybe Melanie being able to answer if she's around. But at least in my understanding with this amendment, it does bring it more into line with Prince George's and Howard's and how they had previously set up their People's Counsel offices. As I'm sure everyone's aware, ours was very different with the initial language, but as I understand it and as it's been explained to me, it is more in line now.
Okay, all right,
Melanie
thank
or
you.
Tom, would you like to chime in?
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for the
I think-
question.
Yeah, I think I would just turn this over to Tom. I just want to clarify that because of the Office of Intergovernmental Relations has split responsibilities to the council and the county executive. Therefore, Tom is working this piece of legislation since we're not able to lobby for either side. So, Tom, if you want to explain what's going on, and I will continue to be the observer that I am on the call.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I'd be happy to respond. Actually, the big difference, I think, between this amended bill and Prince George's, and I believe also Howard County, is that the People's Counsel can appear in hearings and court sessions. And so that is a difference. This is a little more limited in that they will not be able to appear in a proceeding under the amendments. So it is a bit more limited.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Tom and Melanie. Okay, any other questions from members? Okay, or comments? All right, if not, let's take up the amendments. Would anyone like to move the amendments?
Move the amendments.
Okay, the amendment has been moved. Do I have a second? All right, Delegate Wallach seconded the amendments. All right, all in favor of the amendments?
Aye.
Say aye or raise your hand. Okay. Delegate Queen, is that a yes?
No, it's not. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay, Delegate.
got a lot of
Kaiser.
background noise where I'm at. I'm
Okay.
opposed.
Okay, Delegate Kaiser, How did you vote? Okay, all right, so amendment passes. On the bill as amended. Do I have a motion?
Bill, move the bill as amended.
Okay. Anyone want to second? Okay, Delegate Wallach. Okay, all in favor of the bill, HB 1364 as amended, please raise your
Aye.
hand or say aye. Okay. All right, opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. So I see 2 opposition. Delegate Greg wins and bill passes. The subcommittee for the Committee for Economic Development and advances to the larger delegation for vote Friday, this Friday, I believe. Okay. All right. I think that concludes our work session and voting session this morning. I again want to thank everyone and also thank you for your flexibility this morning when I had to change the time delay a little bit. Thank you, staff. I will see everyone on the floor shortly. Thanks.